Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Myth-Busting Locksmith, and you arrive at part 2 of the toothbrush electric pick possibility query. And in this episode we were going to look at airport security and why electric toothbrushes should not be allowed on aeroplanes. Now, before we start, I would like to point out that I have 726 followers on LinkedIn. I have over 500 connections, and it is a very professional LinkedIn page. Now, about 2 years ago, I put an article on LinkedIn in great detail about why the electric toothbrushes should not be allowed in hand luggage on airports, especially in a time where airport security was at its highest. I had about 700 people view the article, I had several people like the article, and not one person got in contact with me, despite having invitations sent out to Heathrow Airport security, Gatwick security, and in fact the airport industry in general, security bodies. Nobody got back to me, nobody was interested. So what I did was I then 3 months later posted exactly the same article, pointing out that over 700 people had looked at the article and not one person had shown any interest. So when we were looking at in part 1 how electric toothbrushes cannot be used or made into electric picks like this one, and we pointed out the size difference in these three, what I also spotted in my very early days of research was something quite concerning, which I want to highlight with you today in the hope that security or the Civil Aviation Authority will pick up on and maybe invite me to speak with them about banning these from hand luggage, which I cannot reiterate enough. Now, I haven't been on an aeroplane for many years, and I know airport security has stopped liquids and then allows them to stop various things, but I can tell you they would certainly not let you take a pair of these on an aeroplane. That would be stupid. They would not let me take this on an aeroplane, despite the fact that I'm allowed to carry this on my belt as I am a working locksmith and it is a tool of my trade. I am not allowed to carry this on an aeroplane because it has a large locking knife here with a serrated blade, very nasty, and it also has a straight bladed locking blade here. So of course, as a tool of my trade, absolutely invaluable. On an aeroplane you have got no chance. So we move to the next thing. A large pair of scissors, very good for cutting things. A piece of paper. Aha. But you would not be allowed to carry those in your hand luggage. We come along to another pair of scissors, much smaller than the first ones, and of course you would not be allowed to carry these in your hand luggage. I'm not sure what the details are recently, but before you weren't even allowed to carry nail clippers in your hand luggage because apparently they contain a little blade that is no wider than my little finger, and my little finger is little. So whether you're allowed to carry these now, I'm not sure, but I'm sure if these came with there it is, a little pokey outy nail file, which could be used as a sharp jabbing or stabbing weapon, I'm sure you would not be allowed to carry that on the aeroplane. So we are going to leave that just there. Now, if I tried to take this on an aeroplane, they would say no, because apart from the fact that it has a blade on the end, which is very blunt, they would say this could be used as a weapon. The size of this, it's big, it's solid, it's very heavy. It could be used as a weapon. So, if you're watching part 1, you might have picked up on this detail, but you are allowed to carry an electric toothbrush in your hand luggage. Here is number 1 daughter's toothbrush in her bag, here is father's toothbrush in his bag. But the concern is, you take the head off, you make this into a point at the end, you now have a stabby pointing tool. Very dangerous. Put the lid back on again, nicely concealed, innocent little toothbrush. You take toothbrush number 2, has princesses on it, how cute. You take the top off, you file that down into a blade, now you have a slicing blade weapon. You put that back on again, how cute, a little toothbrush. So, you get 2 people posing as a family together, you pull this off, you pull this off, you now have a stabbing weapon, and you now have a lethal point, both of which can be used as weapons. And if the rumours on YouTube are to be believed, you could even use one of these as an electric lockpick. Now, putting aside the fact that I said that was nonsense and we dismissed that and busted the myth, for the sake of argument, I am wrong. You could make one of these into an electric lockpick. You put a third one there. There's mother's, there's father's, there's the child's. You now have an electric lockpick, a spike for stabbing, and a blade for cutting. And let us bring this back into account and show you the difference between the length of blade, between this and this, and of course this. Now you tell me, while we are doing this short video, why, with, as I say, 726 people on LinkedIn and over 500 connections, why nobody from the Air Force Civil Aviation Authority or the Airports Authority or Airport Security, Heathrow Airport, Gatwick Airport or anybody else has come back to me and accepted my invitation for coffee so that I may discuss this further with them as a major security risk. So, out of interest for public safety, I'm adding this as my part 2 of a 2-part Can You Make an Electric Lockpick Out of Toothbrushes, and I'm highlighting this issue here today in the hope that somebody out there will pick up on this and maybe invite me for a coffee and a donut. I like the ones with jam, and we can have a conversation about getting these banned off hand luggage as a point of personal safety and security for our airlines. So there we are, a little bit different, no myth busted here today, but it's in connection with the first part and I thought it'd be important to share. So as always, thank you for watching, see you on the next one.